Hey guys, it's Ann Perry. Sure hoping that many of you will be able to join me here today. This is my very first live question and answer period. So many of you sent in all kinds of really great questions, and I'm going to be answering them today. So there were hundreds of questions that came in, but I chose kind of a variance of different topics and whatnot so that many of you can be informed by them. I also wanted to let you know too that during this session I'm going to be doing an angel card reading. It's actually an oracle card reading. It's from the Soul's Journey Lessons cards. Okay, this is what it looks like. It's by James Van Praagh. Love this guy. Love these messages. And James has just such a really good deck of cards that he created. They're called the lesson cards, and they're very broad in their description of what we're looking for. So I like to use them for things like this. I like to use them so that I can speak to the whole group. Okay, so this card is really going to be quite interesting. I've already pulled it on behalf of everybody who's going to be attending here today. There seemed to be quite a theme involved. People who were sending me messages, there was a real interest in the 2911 for some reason. I don't know why that kept coming up, but for whatever reason, there's a lot of people who have the 2911 influence in their chart that wanted some information today. So this card is going to really speak to you guys. All right, so let's get going. Hey, Whitney, nice to see you here. Hey, Tracy. Glad you guys were able to make it. Okay, so the first question I had came from Linda Arrington. Linda wanted some general information about her date of birth. Now, her date of birth is April 17th of 1956. So, as you know, the way I like to calculate these things is to bring down the numbers separately. So when we figure out what Linda's life path number is, we're going to bring down her month of birth. The number 4 is for April. The 17th day is 1 plus 7, comes down as an 8. 1956, we add together 1 plus 9 plus 5 plus 6 equals 21, and 2 and 1 equal 3. So now we're just going to add 4 plus 8 plus 3, and that comes up to 15. So her life path number, hey Autumn, her life path number is a 15/6. So what does that mean? So she's got a few things going on. When we look at the 15/6, we know that the 1 and the 5 are what we refer to as sub-lessons, okay? So sub-lessons to her life path number, which is the 6. So she has to learn all about the 1, which is all about independence and being seen, being heard, standing up for herself, that sort of thing. That's the 1. She also has to learn how to work with, hey Kathy, she also has to learn how to work with the energy of the number 5. Let's stop all the distractions. She can be very easily distracted by things, okay? This opportunity comes up and that opportunity comes back, and it gets really busy. So she's got to learn how to kind of channel her energy a little bit better so that she can be the best 6 she can be. So the 6 is somebody who's very much the nurturer. When we look at the number 6, we see the number 6 as the nurturer, right? We see that pregnant belly, that big round belly, and you can relax, Linda, unless you want to be pregnant. It's not going to happen anytime soon. It's not about that. It's really related to the nurturing side of who you are. So the downside of this 6 energy is that the 6 has a tendency to be a bit of a perfectionist, not just about themselves, but also with regards to other people around them too. So you're quite demanding. So you got to learn how to kind of drop that bar a little bit, and ultimately learn how to accept yourself. Because once you can accept yourself and your limitations and your weaknesses and all the flaws that make us perfect, once you can accept all of that, then it's easier for the other people in your life to be accepted as well. So all of your relationships around you will definitely improve. So you're very much the nurturer. You have an issue with responsibility, and it's not because you're not responsible, it's because you're overly responsible. You tend to jump in and rescue people long before they need to be rescued, okay? So you have a real big need to be of service to other people. So I hope that whatever you're doing in your life is related to being of service to people. So, and just on a side note here, Linda, because I've got to keep this short and sweet for everybody, you're moving out of a, wait now, 8, 10, 12. Sorry, I thought I had that figured out. Just one sec. 4, 8, 2, 10, 14, 5. Okay. So last year you were in a year of 4, which made you feel a little bit stuck. This year you're going to be in a year of 5, which is all about change. So what I would suggest for you is try to be as flexible and as adaptable as you possibly can, because change is absolutely on the horizon for you. It's imminent. So I hope that you enjoyed that. All right, Nez Guzman. She wants to know about 2911s together. Okay, so that's two people who are both 2911. She and her partner are 2911s. So these guys are the inventors, the artists, the leaders. They're very sensitive people. They're very intuitive, often very sentimental. The issue with the 2911s is that they're exceedingly creative, the same as all 11s are, but they tend to be very intellectual by nature. So sometimes they have a hard time expressing their creativity. They think about it a lot, and a lot goes on up here, but they don't really actually express it. So if they don't have somebody who's encouraging them to express themselves, then sometimes that can fall a little short. So if they fail to communicate, it's usually because they're just too far in their heads, okay? So basically what you would need, Nezzy, and your partner also needs, is someone who can really support each other unconditionally, okay? So allowing each other to express themselves, and being encouraged to express yourself, doesn't matter how weird and wonderful and out there it is. It's all about maintaining balance. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the 2911s, when we have that 9 sitting in there, that reminds us that take the drama off of yourselves. You guys can kind of get stuck in your own drama. Try to take the focus off of yourselves and keep the focus on everybody else, because really what you're meant to be doing in this lifetime is inspiring and empowering other people through selfless service to other people, right? So sometimes the 2911 gets a little bit too involved with themselves, so they have to learn to take that shift and move it over to watching out for everybody else. So I hope that that has proven to be helpful. Janet McDonald. Charles, I've got one coming up for you. I've done a little bit of explanation for you, so I hope you'll hang tight. Janet McDonald, she is a gal that's from my area. She's an animal communicator. Her date of birth is June 22nd of 1958. That makes her a 33-6. So that's kind of an unusual life path number. We don't see a whole lot of 33-6s. So that's a master number. Anytime we have duplicate numbers, that's a master number, right? So she's a 33-6. So she has to overcome, she's got a concern about, am I ever going to feel like I fit in? You know, I feel odd, I feel different, I don't feel like I'm really making it here in this world. So she has a big need to feel liked, to feel accepted, not to be rejected. So 33-6s have a real need to be teachers, right? To express themselves in creative ways. So I encouraged, what I saw from Janet's chart when I did her chart for her was I saw her as an animal communicator. And I'll never forget, because she said to me, well, don't all people communicate with animals? Like she didn't see it as different. She saw it that's just who she is, and she just figured everybody was like that, right? So it's kind of interesting. Suffers a lot of self-doubt. That's the 3, double 3s, a lot of self-doubt. So it's learning how to believe in yourself, learning to develop your connection to spirit, right? It's really important to develop that connection to spirit and overcome that self-doubt. Accept that there's perfection in every single moment. There is no such thing as perfection, because perfection is really in the eyes of the beholder. You could paint a painting and I could say, oh my God, that's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And yet you might look at that painting and go, yeah, it's not so great, right? So, okay, so you don't think it's so great. Well, that's your opinion, right? But for me, it's perfect, okay? So it really is about opinion as we see in terms of perfection. So what could be perfect to me? A meal, for example. I can remember going over to Prince Edward Island and having the most memorable meal of my entire life. And yet the next guy sitting next to me wasn't particularly happy with it. And I'm like, all right, well, that's your reality. My reality says this is absolutely over the top. So, Janet, you got to learn to accept the fact that there is no perfectionism. It's what can you do every single day to make a difference? You are a teacher, right? You will teach by example. You will teach people about their animals as you communicate with the animals and share the messages with people. You have a need to always be doing the right thing, but really it's getting in alignment with what you feel is right rather than doing what you feel should be done. You need to get in touch with what you need to do, okay? And one of the things I think is really important is to start to include the words, I feel this and that, rather than I think this and that. So get out of your head into your heart and really get in touch with what you feel. So I hope that's been helpful. All right. What else we got on here? Hey, Anna. You'd like to know more about your expression number 4. Okay. Well, the expression number 4 is an interesting number. It's actually quite a good number. A 4 is a good place to have to be in the expression area, because the expression is where your talent is, right? So I don't know what your life path number is, but the expression number is going to bring support to the life path number. Okay, the life path number comes from your date of birth, and it's always related to your lesson plan, what you agreed to learn. When it comes to the expression number, that's from your your name on your birth certificate. All of the letters in your birth name converted to a numeric value. We crunch the numbers on that. We come up with the expression number, which is where you agreed to place your talents. Okay, so say for example your life path number is a 5, which is all about change and a little bit being a little unsettled and all over the place kind of thing, and really thriving on change. But you need to be a little bit better grounded. So bringing in the 4 energy as an expression number would be a really good number, because that would afford a little bit of grounding and planning and process, that sort of thing. Okay, so hopefully that helps. For Liz, I do have something for you, but it's not coming up just yet, so just hang in there for a minute. You're welcome, Nezzy. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Hey, Sharon, nice to see you. Let's see. Oh, and your life path number is a 1. So yeah, so you are the builder. So you are the builder for sure. You've got that expression number, the 4 posts into the ground, create something, right? So you're the builder. Hey, Carolyn, so glad you joined us. Just checking in on everybody here. You're welcome. You're welcome, Anna. Okay, so let's talk to, who else is here now? Charles, you're up. Charles Moore. Okay, so Charles has been feeling kind of stuck. A couple of reasons for that. And listen, guys, I am not an astrologer, you know that, but if I say something about astrology, don't ask me anything about astrology, because I'm not going to answer you. I will share with you what little tidbits I know. But when it comes to astrology, Holly Poole is your girl, right? hollypoole.com. That's who you need to talk to. However, I'm going to mention that what I understand is that Jupiter, which is our planet of expansion, is not going to be moving until July. So once that kicks into gear and starts moving, all of us are going to feel a little less stuck. So hopefully that'll help you a little bit there, Charles. And Gail Harvey, this message is also for you. So, okay, so Charles, your date of birth is June 22nd of 1981. That makes you the 2911. So there's a couple things that that come to mind. Really, what you need to be doing to help you to get unstuck is to start get going. You have to basically take it upon yourself to get going. So no one's going to do it for you but you, right? So finding ways to apply your creativity to be of service to other people. You're at 2911. The 2 is all about learning how to play nice in the sandbox, learning how to give, learning how to receive. Some people feel stuck because they don't know how to receive, and so they feel depleted all the time. And the 2911s are really good for that, because the 9 says, well, I want to be of service to people all the time. But if you don't know how to receive, then you're going to get burnt out really quickly, right? So one of the tricks you need to do is release the need for approval, right? The 2911s have a real need for approval. You need to work on developing your intuition. So I'm really glad you're hanging out here, because that's certainly going to help. You need to fight for your independence. There's a part of you that wants to be codependent and struggles with being independent. So obviously being independent is the stronger of the 2, so we want you to try and find ways to be as independent as possible. You're meant to uplift, inspire, support, and heal humanity. The 9s are the healers. So I would encourage you to check out maybe taking a course in Reiki or therapeutic touch or healing touch or something in that regard. Always trying to, as soon as you start having a pity party, and we all do it, right? As soon as you start having that pity party, Charles and Gail, I want you to start thinking about, how can I be of service to someone else, right? How can I be of service to someone else? I think you're going to find this Soul's Journey card that I'm going to pull at the end of the reading, at the end of our session today. This is really going to speak to you, okay? So focus on the other people, focus on what you can do for humanity. Always try to keep the focus off of yourself if it's at all possible. Find ways to develop your creative potential so that you can use that creative potential to inspire and empower other people. So what does that mean? It can mean write music, write poetry, paint a painting, paint a mural, you know, some sort of creative endeavor that's really going to inspire somebody else, right? It could be a blog. You know what? Every time the 11s are posting stuff, anybody for that matter, is posting on my channel or is posting on YouTube or whatever, you're always uplifting me. And you might think it's just a small little thing to send out a pleasant message or something, just a add a girl kind of message to say, hey, your stuff really inspired me. It means the world, changes my vibration. When my vibration changes, guess what? Everybody's around me changes, and that's a good place. So keep it up. So that's great. I hope that has proven to be helpful for you. Hey, Pamela, glad you're here. Awesome. Hey, Daniel, you're January 18th, 1954? 1 minus 10, 15, 17, 19, 1. 10, so you're the 11. Awesome. Welcome. That's great. Hey, Mark, I'm glad you're here again. Awesome. Okay, now let's talk to, who else are we going to? Charlotte Manoyer. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Her question was, what does it mean to be a straight 11 rather than a 29, 11, 38, 11, 47, 11, that sort of thing? So yes, absolutely, there's a very big difference. So when we were adding up our life path number, if all the numbers had added up to, for example, 38, then that person would be here not to learn just about the 11, but also they'd be learning sub-lessons of the 3 and the 8. So the 3 is all about communication. The 8 is about power and authority and learning how to work with their money to be the very best 11 they can be. So they still have to work on the double ones. The double one is all about embracing your creative potential and using it to inspire others. But how you get there is determined by the numbers to the left of the slash. So if there are no numbers to the left of the slash, it's my belief that you've already worked through them. Okay, so you just come in as a straight 11. It doesn't make you any lesser than. It doesn't make your life any more complicated or less complicated. It's just a different focus. So 3811, so communication and money and power and authority. 2911 would be about patience and diplomacy and learning how to play nice in the sandbox, and the 9 would be about being of selfless service. So you can see there's two very different ways to be an 11 in this case, 29 or the 38. And you also asked, is there a way to work out your vocation from numerology? Absolutely. So there's a couple things I would look at. Life path numbers, we know, talks about the lessons that you agreed to learn in this lifetime. You chose your date of birth based on the lesson plan that you wanted to bring in. Now, the expression number is something that determines your gifts and your talents that you're going to bring forward with you. So automatically we know what you're good at, okay? But then we have to look at your heart's desire number, and your heart's desire number comes from the vowels in your birth name. So the heart's desire number tells me what you really would want to do. So let's use my date of birth as an example. So my life path number is a 7. So that says I'm sort of, introverted and quiet, like to meditate and spend time by myself, out in nature, that sort of thing. But I'm also a spiritual teacher, which falls under the umbrella of the 11, or sorry, of the 7. So that being said, I had to bring with me a really strong expression number so that it would support me and give me the courage to do Facebook Live and YouTube and all those sorts of things, right? So I brought forward the number 5 because the 5 doesn't mind doing this kind of stuff, doesn't mind doing the radio, television, whatever. She can throw it at her, she can handle it, right? But what do I really want? I know what I'm good at. I'm good at being able to deliver information like this, but what is it I really want? It's a 6, because my heart's desire number is a 6, which is to be of service to other people, which is what I'm doing right now. So when we look at somebody's numerology chart, we've got to look at all the facets, right? The life path number, that's the lesson, right? But when we look at the expression number, we look at the heart's desire number, we get a real good idea as to what somebody would be good at, okay? That's actually something covered in my Udemy course. I don't know if you guys know, but I have a Udemy course. If you want like a half-price link, just message me and I'll send it to you. But it's a really good course called Uncover Your Life Purpose with numerology, and it's really extensive. It's probably the most extensive life path course online right now, because I don't just talk about the 7 life path. We got to talk about the 25/7 life path or the 34/7 life path. Or what kind of 11 or 7 are you? Okay, so anyway, I hope that makes sense and that you'll check that out. Oh, I'm glad, Charles. Thank you for letting me know. That's awesome. Hey, Brenda. So good to see you here, and Whitney is here too. Are you only considered a Master 11 if your life path equals 11? Okay, brilliant question. I actually had it here somewhere to answer that for you, because I know you had sent that to me earlier. Okay, so the answer to that is yes. To refer to yourself as a Master number 11, it has to have come from your date of birth, which creates your life path number. So If you're born on the 11th day, you have master number 11 energy in your chart. If you're born on the 22nd day, for example, that's the master number 22 in your chart, but that doesn't make you a master number 22 or a master number 11. So your date of birth has to add up to an 11 in order for you to be able to call yourself a master number 11. Now, having said that, there's a lot of stock that we put into the 4 core numbers that make up a numerology chart. So that's your life path number, your expression number, your heart's desire, and your birthday number. Okay, so we got all 4 of those. So if you were born, like I said, on the 11th day, or your expression number is an 11, or your heart's desire number is an 11, you're definitely going to feel like an 11, right? So any of the stuff that I create around the 11s is definitely going to speak to you. But because it comes in a different place, it's going to have a different effect. So for example, if your life path number is an 11, you have the lessons regarding the 11. If it comes in as the expression number, it's not a lesson, it's actually your gift, which is being that spiritual communicator, right? So hopefully that's made a bit of a difference. Hey Linda, so glad that you joined us. I've already covered your stuff, so you're going to have to watch the replay afterwards. So I did answer your question. So thanks so much for being here. Okay, Mara Silvera, expression 88. Never seen that. And then it breaks down to 16.7. Okay, so it's got the karmic debt attached to it. So you might want to go and watch my video on how do I know if I have a karmic debt, because it'll definitely be in there. But the 16.7 is all about the rise and the fall of the ego. I am the poster child for 16.7. I've been there, done that, got a few of those t-shirts. We call it crash, burn, and learn, Mara, because that's what we do. So we tend to blow up our worlds occasionally, and quite often we suffer from breakdowns in relationships because we think we're great communicators, where in fact we really are head cases. We think a lot. So we tend to hold a lot inside, thinking that everybody else kind of knows what's going on. But the 16.7 is a very interesting number. It's always for the better evolution of your soul. Okay, so yes, you crash, yes, you burn, yes, you learn from it, but you're always so much better for having experienced it. So this is really a lot of old soul stuff. But I would really encourage you to go and check out my video on YouTube for that. You're welcome, Whitney. Let's see who else we got going on here. Those 2 are taken care of. Okay, so Leslie Sider asked about her date of birth. It was a very interesting date of birth. October 13th of 1980 makes her life path number a 14/5. We don't refer to this as a 5 because it actually added up to a 14, and the 14 is about a karmic debt, right? So when we break it down, the 1 in the 14/5 is related to learning how to be independent rather than codependent, learning to be in touch with their creative potential. And the 4 is related to developing process, okay, one step after the other, coming up with a plan, okay, and not being quite so scattered, and just learning that you have to take a step-by-step approach. The 5 is related to your freedom. You're somebody who really, really wants their freedom. So in a nutshell, the 1-4-5 is taking independent action to create a plan. Independent action is the number 1. Create a plan, which is the number 4, so that you can have the freedom that you want, which is the number 5. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So, but a big issue exists in your chart because, or in your birth date anyways, related to the 4 energy that keeps showing up. It shows up in the 14/5. The 4 is that sub-lesson, right, which is related to stability, process, one step in front of the other. But it's also showing up in your day of birth, which you were born on the 13th, which brings in another karmic debt. What were you doing the day you signed that contract? You weren't dotting the I's and crossing those T's. I'm just teasing. So the 13/4, what it says is that when you bring this forward with you, what it says is that you were a bit of a slacker in a previous lifetime. So in this lifetime, you might find yourself to be somebody who is a workaholic, right? So you feel the need to prove yourself because you kind of dropped the ball. In the previous lifetime, you hung out in the staff room and let everybody else kind of carry the ball for you, so to speak, right? So this time around, you're feeling very consciously aware that you have to work a little bit harder. So it brings in a challenge to focus. When we look at the number 1-3-4, like 13/4, she was born on the 13th day, so we know it's a karmic debt of 13/4. So when we look at the 3 says I have to learn how to not only express myself, but I have to learn how to focus, right? So it's going to bring in obstacle after obstacle as you're trying to succeed, as you're trying to move forward. There's a part of you that struggles with, I really want my freedom and I really want to do it, but I'm kind of scared and I don't want to take a chance. I don't want to take a risk. That's kind of scary. But the 13-4 comes in and says, here's another obstacle. Hey, there you go, Leslie. There's another obstacle, and it's one after the other, right? And it gets very, very frustrating. But for you, the key is to always, always, always be conscious of where you are focused. Anything you give your energy, attention, and focus to is going to get bigger, right? So why not focus on the good stuff? Instead of focusing on, oh, you know, life sucks and I can't get out of my own way, you need to flip that focus immediately and go on to, well, you know what? Yeah, yesterday wasn't so great, but today I'm doing this and I'm moving forward, you know? So it's all about keeping a positive perspective and changing, having that willingness, because 4s are very stubborn, having that willingness to shift your focus onto something that's a little bit more positive, okay? It's going to help you volumes. You're also, on a side note here, you're in a 7 personal year. You're really in your head right now. And you're coming in this fall coming, you're going to be moving into a year of action. Okay, that 8 personal year is a year of action. So the 7 personal year tends to be a little hard on your head because you really just can't get out of your own way because you're overthinking everything all the time. So I promise you it'll get a little easier as you move through the summer. So I hope that that's been helpful. Okay, let's check out here. Yes, I love Bridget Love. Is Bridget here today? She's supposed to be here somewhere. There she is! Bridget Love, you're smart ass. Hi, Ian, how can one become a numerologist? I'd like to be one. Thanks. I'm still working on that, Bridge. I'm still working on it. You're bad. Go back to your room. Let's see. Who else I got here? 8 years. So scary for me. It's just getting too much. No, 8 years is an amazing year, Anna. Absolutely an amazing year. This is the year to take back your power. Take back your control. Go and watch my video. It's called Why is the life path number 8 so challenging? And I know this is not related to an 8 life path number for you, but I want you to watch that video because you'll really get a good idea of what I'm talking about. I've also, for those of you who are interested, I have a whole series of videos that tell you exactly what's going on in your personal years, so you might want to go check that out too. Grounding. Charles, the only way to do this is through grounding, buddy. You know what, you're just so connected to the other side that the energy is coming down through your crown really fast like a lightning bolt. But a lightning bolt's not a lightning bolt until it touches the ground, right? We don't even know that it exists until it actually touches the ground. So you got to touch the ground. So whatever you can do to develop a way to really plug in, whatever you have to do through meditation, I would examine diet. Doreen Virtue's got a really good book on diet for light workers, so check that out. That would really help. So, yeah, no, you know what, Anna, the number 8 personal year is not always going to be about money. Money and power are a real close connection, aren't they? So the more powerless you feel, the less money you'll have, okay? So focus on what you have rather than what you don't, and that will definitely make a huge difference in the way that you proceed through your personal year of 8. Definitely, the personal year of 8 will always have a focus on money, but it also has to be given a lot of healthy attention to how much power do you have. You need to start looking at how have I been teaching people how to treat me to this point. Let me look at my life and see what areas are a little shaky and what I don't like. You know what? They're a direct match to whatever you've created for yourself, because as you believe, so it is. You create your own reality based on the choices that you're making for yourself. So in a personal year of 8, it's a good time to step back, look in and go, what have I done personally to contribute to this mess, right? When did it become okay for this person to take advantage of me? When did it become okay for this guy to pay me this little? When did I imply to him that that's all I was worth? Something to think about, right? Okay. Personality 22-4, is this related with master numbers? Okay. I'm going to butcher this. Sudhananda. We're calling you Dom. I hope that's okay. You've got the personality of the 22-4. Is this related with master numbers? Yes, it is. Absolutely. And it is related to the 4 as well. So the 4 is related to being somebody who's the master builder, creating something. I've looked at your photographs, Dom, and amazing, right? So you speak through your photography. You're like, you know, you paint with your pictures, so you're creating an amazing legacy to leave behind through that. Really, really something. And you're welcome to post your link to your pictures if you wanted to share them with anybody. I saw them this morning on our Master Number 11 portal. They were awesome. And yes, you're right. Your heart's desire is a 13-4, and it is a karmic debt as well. Yay, you! It's all good. It's all good. Karmic debts are not a bad thing. They're an opportunity to learn. Okay, Diane Interronte, I hope I'm saying that right. She asks, is the 2911 life path number harder than the 11 life path? I'm going to say what do I want to say about this? The sub-lessons relating to the 29 are the 2, which is about patience, learning to give, learning to receive, learning to be a partner, learning balance, learning how to create bridges. The 9 is learning how to be of selfless service to other people so you can be the best 11 you can be. So the focus is, I guess, a little bit less on creativity and enlightenment with the 2911 than it would be with just a straight 11 life path number. But I'm not going to say that it's any easier or any more difficult. Really, at the end of the day, the way that we move through our lives is based on the choices that we make, right? So whatever choices you make contribute to your reality. So if you think that the 2911 is more difficult than the 11, well, that's your reality, and I guess that's what it is, right? So it's how you deal with it. At the end of the day, nobody, everybody's very sensitive when they're dealing with any energy, right? But particularly the 11s, I have to say, are definitely more sensitive. But it's your choice how sensitive you become. It's your choice how you use that sensitivity. Do you use it as a weapon to keep people away from you? Do you use it to tune into other people so that you can help them? It's your choice how you work with that. Okay, so I'm not going to say that one life path is any more difficult than the other. I guess it's just really how you tap into the lessons and how much you work with them. And remember, we signed our soul's contract based on what we asked to learn in this lifetime. So this is great. If we're learning what the heck it is we're supposed to be learning and what we're supposed to be working on, then we're all the better for having it, right? Okay, Marion A, she asked, is every soul born into the year of 1? No. I know that you were, because you told me you were. But let's take, for example, let's see, somebody fire up a date of birth for me. Just post me any date of birth. Or not. I'll go looking for one then. Fine. Here we go. There's Leanne. You are March 14th of 1979. Okay, so the year that you were born is 1979. So 1 plus 9 plus 7 is 17. Plus 9 is 25. That comes down as a 7. Okay, because 2 and 5 are 7. And then we've got. Okay. Can you tell I do these things backwards? You guys are probably going, what the hell is she doing? Stick with me, I promise I'll make this easier. 1 and 9 is 10, 19, 26, it's, oops, that's 10, 19, 26. That's an 8, sorry, and that's a 5, and that's a 3, 8, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, and she's a 7. All right, so here's a perfect case here when we're looking at Leanne's date of birth. Her date of birth comes up to a life path number of 7. It's actually 16-7. So she was born into a personal year of 7. So your first year is going to be whatever your life path number is. So if your life path number is a 3, you were born into a 3 personal year. It does not mean that you have to be born into a 1 personal year just because it's your first year. So hopefully that makes sense. Anita Kirkbride. Anita asked me, what is it? What's the most unbelievable thing that you have discovered for a person through numerology? Well, that person was me, and this was many, many, many years ago before I knew numerology, and I was in a bit of a crap hole. I call it my dark place, okay? I've never been back to that dark place. I don't plan on ever going back, but I do remember when I was there thinking, oh my God, my life sucks. But when I started studying numerology and I reflected back upon that year, because it definitely left a mark, I looked back on it and I went, oh yeah, my life sucked, but it only sucked for then, right? It wasn't something that was like something for eternity. But when I was in it and I didn't know anything about numerology, it made me think my life is just in ruins and it's never going to get better. So the beauty of numerology, when I went in and I started understanding about working with personal years and the essences come from your birth name, it showed me on my chart that I was in a personal year of 6, which is about domestic drama, and I was in an essence of 19-1, which can be very difficult. The 19-1 is all about extreme independence, right? And it was just a really, really dark time for me. It's also a time when you're supposed to be asking for help and asking for support, but the 19-1 causes you to be so intensely independent. You know, I can do it myself. I don't need your help, kind of thing. And you go so within that it's hard to, it's hard for you to even reach yourself, right? So I remember thinking, my gosh, what a wonderful, amazing tool that I can use to help people to understand if you're feeling stuck. I can look at that and go, okay, yeah, I see that. You got stuck here, but you're going to get unstuck here. And just to validate that, let's flip your chart back about 6 years, 7 years, whatever I see. Remember when you were in this place? Remember how you felt then? Do you remember when it got better at this point? And you're going to say yes, right? And it validates your journey. So that has to be probably the most unbelievably powerful things I've ever learned about numerology, was to be able to help people to understand when's their crappy cycle going to end, right? When are the good times going to roll again? Okay, let's see. What else have we got here? Yeah, what does that mean? Karmic debt in the heart's desire, what does that mean? It depends on which karmic debt it is. It's a difficult question to answer. I mean, if it's happening in the heart's desire area, it quite often will relate to relationships. It sometimes will relate to a passion that you have. It can be related to many different things. It can be all different aspects. But it's really hard to say without actually looking at the other numbers there, to be perfectly honest. I'm sorry, I can't really answer that. Tiffany Steckenrider asked, life path number and expression number both are 22-4. Question mark, what does that mean? Okay, well, the 22-4 is the master builder. Okay, this is somebody who can be very focused, very disciplined, can really get things rocking and rolling. But the 22-4, there's a positive side to it and a negative side to it. If you fall to the negative side to it, you might be somebody who just feels powerless, just doesn't feel like they can accomplish anything, feels a bit needy, feels a little bit codependent, that sort of thing, doesn't feel that they can take the necessary steps to create anything. They get overwhelmed by the whole process of it. That's the lesson side of it, right? The weaker side of it. The strength of it comes from the expression number. So in her particular case, she's got the weakness, but she's also got the strength. So I love to see this, actually. I really do love to see this, because whatever you're trying to make happen in your life, you've got double intensity of the 22-4. It's a double need to create something, build something, make something that's going to leave a lasting legacy, that's going to be supportive and helpful to a lot of people. That's definitely there, right? But I would say that because your expression number is there with your gifts and your talents, you're absolutely up for the challenge. And you got to remember that you never would have been given this opportunity to work through double 22s if you weren't up for the task. They just would not have given it to you, right? So you have to remember that. So when it becomes a little overwhelming, when you're feeling like you're trying to balance it, and it is a real balancing act, there's no question, right? There's a lot of pressure on you to create something, to build something, but just, one day at a time, one step at a time. The 4 is about process. It's not about racing forward and just creating something huge all of a sudden. It's about taking your time and planning it out. And it's about cooperative efforts. There's double 2s there, right? So it's cooperative efforts, trying to bring people together to create community that will help and inspire other people. So hopefully that helps. Fleur de Liz. May 28th, 1994, you are the 11. You asked me about business. Will business be good for you this year? Yeah, hell yeah. You're in an 8 personal year. Why not, right? So this is great. The other thing is we've also got the universal year of 11, okay? So the universal year of 11 is bringing illumination to the planet, okay? All of us on the planet are being illuminated. We're seeing all of our relationships, business ones, family ones, personal ones, all of our relationships, we're seeing them all in a different light right now, right? So it's all about illumination. So we're also seeing ourselves in a different light. So this is a good time to kind of look at yourself and go, okay, so what have I not tackled? You know, what challenges have I been avoiding? You know, why? Why do I keep sort of stepping away from the challenge? What do I need to do to step it up? Because this is a year of manifestation for you. This is a year to really harness your power and your authority, okay, to really make a difference. It's a year to set up really healthy boundaries to make sure that people don't break through those boundaries. It's a time to ask yourself, you know, what do I need to do next? What do I need to do to create what I want? How am I going to get my financial house in order this year? Okay, because now you're at the end of an epicycle. You're at the very end of a personal cycle. So the 8's about gaining your power, gathering some authority, setting up those boundaries, getting your financial house in order, because next year you're going to be shifting into a year of 9 where you have to sort of release a whole bunch of stuff in favor of moving into the next year, which is all about your new beginnings. Okay, so you're sort of winding things. It's a complicated year in a sense, because at one point you're sort of winding things down a little bit in some areas, but you're also winding it up. So the 8 is actually a very, very good year for business, typically, to get things going. But I think you're going to be very intuitive. You're going to be able to see things much differently. This year you'll be able to, if you have a partner in your business, possibly that maybe you haven't seen them for who they really are, you'll see them this year, right, for who they are. They'll show themselves, and they will see themselves too. So it's good. I mean, if you're in partnership with somebody, your partner's going to see themselves in a different light. They're going to figure out, do I even want to be in this anymore, right? So there's going to be an awful lot of shakedown in business this year, but I guess that's you're going to do okay. So that's awesome. Let's see. What else we got? Anna, you're saying money is not coming in like it did. There is also that possibility if you're in that 8 personal year. Definitely that can happen. But again, it's the universe is challenging to focus on what you have rather than what you don't. The more you focus on how much money you don't have, you're going to get a whole heck of a lot more of that. So let's not do that. You're welcome, Don. You're 16. Susan, send me your month and your day of birth, please. Susan Scarpay. I might be able to answer that question for you. So Jed, your girlfriend dragged you here. Good to know. I love it. You're a 5 life path and a 7 expression number. New to this, girlfriend got me interested in it. Love it. Okay, so the 5 life path is all about change, shake it up, make it different. I get bored really easily. But the 7 says, I'm very much the analyst. I think things through. I think that's actually quite a nice combination, really. The 7 causes you to kind of pause for a second to think about things before you impulsively jump all over it. Okay, because the 5 has a tendency to kind of jump. Whatever, you know, they're the ones that love danger. They love the ones experience. Extreme sports, you know, before you jump off with a bungee cord, the 7 might kick in and go, hey, you know what? We might want to think about this here for a second. So that's all good. Let's see. Susan, okay, so 2 and 6 or 8 and 10. Yeah, Susan, you're in a year of 1. New beginnings this year. So you go get them. This is really, really good. And you've got the universe on your side. Remember, the universe is it's such a high vibration right now that everybody is being more and more intuitive this year than ever before. So this is a fantastic lineup. If you happen to be in a year of 1, you've got the double 1s of the universe hanging over you, that 11 universal year. So yeah, you can't miss this. Like, you got to make sure that you make a good step forward this year. You know, when you're in a personal year of 1, you don't get that opportunity again for the next 9 years. Okay, it's not to say that you can't start something new for another 9 years, but this is your kick-ass moment. Okay, the lineup can't be any better. And I think we're on a new moon tonight, aren't we? So yeah, put something out there and get something started. Sharon, where are you? Where'd you go? All right. Sharon, you're wrapping things up this year. You're in a 9 personal year. So this is going to be a year when you're going to be taking a look at, what can I move out of the way? What do I need to shed? What do I need to release? Is it people? Are there people I'm hanging out with that are no longer serving my highest good? Maybe these were people that you hung out for a long time with, and now they don't get you anymore. You don't get them. They're just kind of in your face, right? You know, just like you're spending way too much time with them. It's time to get them to move on a little bit. because you have to send a direct message to the universe. Any one of you that are on a 9 personal year this year, you're always sending a message up to the universe that says, listen, I am clearing out stuff. I'm clearing out negative thoughts in my head, making room for positive ones. I'm clearing out shoes in my closet. I'm going to repurpose them. I'm going to re-gift them. I'm going to share them. I'm cleaning stuff out of my environment. I'm making space, right? Because I'm about to shift next year into the fall. As we move into the next year, I'm going to be shifting into a new beginning year. So I want my trunk of junk to be empty. So Sharon, you need to be really working hard to kick to the curb anything that is standing in your way of you being able to move forward. Is there a relationship that's holding you back? Is there somebody that's just not believing in your dreams? You've got to shift your energy from them, right? 34/7. How can life be boring? 34/7, 28-year-old. How can life be boring? It can't be boring. You gotta hang out on our chats, and you won't be bored anymore. It's all good. But I hear you. Sometimes life can get a little bit tiring, but okay. So let's take a look here. Does the vibration effort? Neil Harvey, name numbers. Does the vibration alter when you're being called by a second name predominantly? Should the focus be on the first name number or the second name number? Okay, so that's kind of a loaded question. Let me see where I can wrap my head around that. So prior to your incarnation, you're choosing your date of birth based on the lesson plan that you wanted to create for yourself. Okay, now your birth name is not something you choose. However, you do choose the vibration of your birth name. So if, for example, like I'll use myself as an example again, my life path number is a 7. I sent forth a message that said, I don't care what you call me. It doesn't matter to me what you call me, but you have to make sure that the vibration of my full birth name is a 5, because I need the 5 to support my journey as a spiritual teacher. I want to be that spiritual teacher who's out there. So I need that support of the 5 to make that happen. So the full birth name is where it's at. As soon as you start referring to your name lesser than the full birth name, so I was Anne Louise Drummond when I was born. When I dropped Louise and was just referring to myself as Anne Drummond, it changed the vibration. Now, it doesn't change the birth contract. You brought in a birth contract that said you're Anne Louise Drummond, right? But it does change the way people respond to you. Your vibration will change. So, you know, as somebody, if a woman takes on a married name, if she drops her middle name, if she's referred to her middle name rather than her first name, yeah, always. It's always going to change up the vibration. And it's a good idea to really take a look at that. I know from when I was married the first time, my opportunity to do this kind of a work was completely obliterated because I took on his surname, right? So the vibration changed dramatically and I could not do this work. As soon as I changed my name after the fact, the work started to blossom, right? It's because the vibration was in better alignment. So I hope that helps. Mara, in answer to your question, if you change your birth name, does it affect your expression number? Well, it does, because your birth name has an expression number. And as I said, when you, in my case, you remove the name Louise, and now I'm just Anne Drummond, that expression number changes from the 5 that it is to, I can't remember what it changed to. But to be honest, it's been too long ago. But let's say it's a 4, right? There's dramatic change. Typically. And sometimes it's not such a bad thing. You know, sometimes I'll look at a person's chart as I'm doing the reading, I'll be going, you know what, that's not a bad thing. Or I might look at that and go, hey, you know what, you might want to start including your middle name when you're introducing yourself. Okay. So yes, it does make a change for sure. You are welcome, Susan. And Anna's your girlfriend, okay. Well, welcome, Jed. Thanks, Anna, for bringing Jed along. That's great. Okay, so I want to pull that card that I told you about. So this is coming from the Soul's Journey Lessons cards. Okay, this is from James Van Praagh. I found it really interesting, and I have a funny feeling it's really going to speak to all of you. Okay, that was my intention. So when I pulled the card earlier, before we got on the chat, I said I wanted a message that I could deliver to the entire group that would really speak to them. And the interesting one that came up, especially in light of the fact that we've been dealing with a lot of questions and answers with regards to the 2911, right? The 9 in there. So the card that came up is this one, okay, and it says service. I feel good when I can help others. Isn't that a great mandala? So I want to read it to you. It says, one of the most evolved gifts that a soul possesses is giving of itself. There is a reason why it feels good to give. It's because your soul resonates with that vibration. Your soul should be aware that it might currently be in a situation in which it needs to be fulfilled on higher levels. And this can only happen through the attribute of humbly serving and supporting others. Remember I talked about get the focus off of yourselves. Get out there and focus on somebody else. Put yourself in a position in which you can benefit another soul in any way possible and demonstrate unconditional love toward others. This might mean bringing yourself into your heart space and letting everything you involve yourself in come from an attitude of giving freely. You have to learn to direct your green heart light energy through all your thoughts, your actions, and your deeds. Look around and see where and how you can serve another. Perhaps one way would be asking a friend if you can help clean his or her office or run errands. Anybody wants to clean my office? I'm good, right? I'm good. Or my house or whatever, inspires you. Maybe volunteer to watch your neighbor's kids so the parents can have a night out. Make a meal for someone who might be sick. Volunteer in a hospital or a hospice. Perform an activity that enriches someone else's life, okay? I just thought that was pretty profound because it seemed to speak to a lot of the questions that people had today. So I think that is going to be it for today. Oh, you're more than welcome. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks, Gil. Thanks, Don. So glad that you were here. Thank you for being so patient with me. This is my first live Q&A. So if you liked it, let me know, and I'll run it again next week if that's something that's of interest to you. And I'm sorry I didn't get to everybody's question, but I did try to get through as many as I could and tried to make them as varied as I could. So I'm going to be posting another message. If you guys are interested and you want me to do this again, I will post another message on Facebook, just letting people know when the live is going to be. And I would love it if you would join it. And if you would share it with others, that would be awesome too. What else was I going to tell you? Oh, I have a few more spaces available in my class that's starting on Saturday. It's a 4-week course. You can learn about it on CaitlynDiana.com. That's C-A-I-T-L-I-N. CAITLINDIANA.com, CaitlynDiana.com. It's the Four Seasons Academy, and I'm teaching a 4-week course in numerology where we're exploring the 4 core elements to your chart. And it's pretty cool because this course, if you're doing it one-on-one with me, would be $440 US to do it over 4 weeks. But because it's being done in a group, it's only $135, and you will have your full numerology chart at the end of this. So there's only a few spaces left, but if you're interested in it, hop on over to CaitlynDiana.com. I know she's got a few spaces open there, so because I did restrict the class so it would stay kind of small. Anyway, that's going on. Love to see you there. For those of you who don't know, I did open the Master 11 portal. It's on my Facebook, so if you want to join that, you're more than welcome. What a fantastic audience is in there right now. Oh my God, everybody's contributing so much. It's amazing. It just blows my mind. So it's so great to see the community growing. But that's it for today. Hoping that you guys enjoyed this. Love you guys. I really appreciate your support. Thanks for being so patient with me as I kind of weeded my way through this. But it wasn't so bad. And we will definitely do it again if you guys are interested. So just let me know. You can contact me at AnnPerryNumerologist.com. Check out my Facebook page. Check out my YouTube. And that is it. Hoping you're having a great day, guys. Take care. Love you. Bye for now.